Yes, welcome everyone to another episode of Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's April 16th, 2019, as 420 week continues here in the cannabis community and here at the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab to find this show. Today, we're talking about a company and a new store that's opened up in Kentucky selling and CBD and educating people about CBD. Also, some more news out of Illinois about how the governor feels about homegrown marijuana, and the son of the Notorious B.I.G. is entering the cannabis industry. All of that is coming up. First, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. If you're growing in a state where cannabis is legal, don't use banned pesticides. Be regulatory compliant. Don't use harmful chemicals on what you're growing. Grow safe and poison-free. You can do all these things with Natureside, nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Excuse me. We go to the first story here by yours truly, marijuanatimes.org, going beyond just selling CBD. Basically, Kentucky Naturals is a company we did a profile on. I did a profile on several months ago. When it comes to their hemp extraction factory in northern Kentucky, well, now they have opened up a hemp extracts and CBD learning center in Edgewood, Kentucky. I got a chance to speak with Amy Miles, who is the owner of Kentucky Naturals, and the owner of the store, the person who opened the store, the person who owns the company that opened the store opener, if you will. Amy talked about the education aspect of the establishment. She said, quote, "I believe that if hemp extracts, cannabinoids are ever going to be widely accepted or mainstream, we need to educate as many people as we can about what cannabinoids are and are not, and the truths about what they can do and cannot do. In order to do that, I thought Kentucky Naturals needed to start locally and build out because Facebook and other social media outlets still do not allow advertising of CBD products. It means Kentucky Naturals can have a company page, but we cannot boost our posts or place advertisements. It's a problem faced by a lot of hemp and other cannabis companies. So instead of going the new route of Facebook, social media, and those sorts of things, Kentucky Naturals has gone the older, more traditional route of the brick and mortar store. Amy tells me that we plan to host meetings. She wanted a big enough space for meetings and education, seminars and things like that. She said, quote, "We plan to host meetings with police and fire departments, doctors, nurses, palliative and hospice care doctors, nurses, support groups for autism and ADHD, support groups for families caring for people who are neurologically impaired, pain management specialists, plus guest speakers who specialize in hemp and cannabinoids. But even more important is an area we can log onto a computer with our customers to locate peer-reviewed information about cannabinoids and help them determine if our products might help them and which one is best for their specific concerns and answer questions." So if you're in the area, I would highly recommend checking it out. 3027 Dixie Highway in Edgewood, Kentucky. Kentucky Naturals Hemp Extracts and CBD Learning Center. Hopefully I'll get out there here soon and be able to get some footage from there, maybe a little live streaming, the wonders of technology and what can be done nowadays. So we see if we can make that happen. This is the next story from the Chicago Sun-Times. Grow 'em if you got 'em. Pritzker okay with some homegrown pot, not basement farms. I'm not quite sure what a basement farm is. I guess they're referring to like long tables with plants on them. I mean, I guess that's what a basement farm is. I think they're trying to make it sound like, oh, there's going to be a lot of plants, grown. I mean, how big are most people's basements? I mean, how much can one person grow really in a modest-sized house? I mean, obviously, who cares how much they grow? It's not anybody's business. But Pritzker is he's working his way towards some sort of compromise with limited home growing. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker remains one of the biggest proponents of legalizing recreational marijuana. He's taken it a step further, saying he's also in support of some home grow marijuana. The discussion of how many marijuana plants would be allowed in a household remains part of ongoing negotiations about marijuana legalization in the state. I don't think it's a philosophical question about whether it should be just an open right for anyone to open their own farm in their basement. Pritzker said to some chuckles from legislators behind him. It's really more of a question about, After a bit more laughter, Pritzker took a position. Quote, people should have a home grow. The question is how much. Apparently the legislation, the main legislation that is pending right now is being discussed, allows for 5 plants, which is kind of low. Michigan has 12. Other states have more. It's going to end up being a compromise in Illinois, which hopefully allows for some home grow, which is, I think, is what is the best can be hoped for at this point in most circumstances. Some home grow. Should it be a lot? Should people be able to grow as many plants as they want in their basement? Of course, but it's not the world we live in, obviously. This last story is from Variety.com. Notorious B.I.G's son pays tribute to his dad with Cannabis Company. C.J. Christopher Jordan Wallace, son of the late legendary rapper Notorious B.I.G., recalls feeling a flush of pride as he moved to Los Angeles as an 8-year-old. As he and his mother, singer Faith Evans, listened to LL Cool J's classic Going Back to Cali, he recalls, quote, I can remember feeling proud knowing he always wanted to move here. CJ's worked some as an actor. He played his young father in the 2009 biopic Notorious. His other also worked in some other films. Now, he's kind of owning a company. He's partnership with a brand, Low Herb Company. The company will produce cannabis products such as pre-rolls, vapes, gummies, apparel, stationery, pens, and more. That's a pretty eclectic mix of products for a cannabis company. Stationery and pens. All right. I mean, I guess there's still demand for stationery pens. In conjunction with his partners, including marketing guru and noted photographer Willie Mack. Wallace's Think Big, is the name of the company, was inspired by his parents' use of cannabis and the CBD treatments that ended up helping his younger brother who suffered from autism. Cannabis is something I've always been connected to, even at a young age, he explains, adding that Think Big was, quote, born of a shared mission for social justice and a fundamental goal to herald in a new era where cannabis is no longer considered contraband, but a catalyst for creativity. Another celebrity, or celebrity adjacent, at least in this case, getting in the cannabis industry, which is good. More investment dollars are pouring into the cannabis industry. The faster the cannabis industry is going to grow, the faster supply is going to grow, and the faster prices are going to be brought down. There's going to be downward pressure put on prices by the increased supply as supply comes up to meet demand. And everyone who gets in and invests some money in the industry helps toward that goal. And this is another example of that. So think big. Go check it out. Be on the lookout for it. Whatever. However you search for things on the internet or gear yourself for things that are coming, do that for this. Also, 420 is coming, obviously, at the end of the week. We're going to cover a bunch of stuff here the rest of the week. Maybe some 420 events. Talk about 420 stuff coming up. More about the aftermath of 420, of course, next week. We're here 5 days a week on Cannabis News. Presented, as always, by the Marijuana Times. Thank you to NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thank you all for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos on YouTube and Vimeo. Search Apple Podcasts, the Marijuana Times there for the audio podcast, the audio version of the show. Thanks for watching and listening today. We'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.